welcome back to another episode of the GameCast Release Radar. I am Snowy, otherwise known as Count Fracula, and today I'm going to bring you the latest releases and things you might have missed that won't be loads of rubbish AAA bollocks. We will start with a game called In the Shadows, what looks like a sort of puzzly platform adventure game where you play as sometimes a businessman and sometimes a schoolchild in a weird thing, and you have to go through various puzzles which involve killing or using creatures of the night, and that doesn't mean prostitutes, and killing them with light, and some of them turn into bombs and you use things like that to get around the environment as well. Lovely pixel art style, very interesting certainly, and just a little bit it looks odd enough, looks different enough that it might actually be interesting. It's also got apparently it's very story based as well, so you know, if you like story based games that might help. And the trailer at least has some very good music. I don't know if that music is actually in the game. However, it does have a thing that I very much love. It is a games within games. You can go to an arcade at some point and play games within a game, and that's always a positive thing. The game costs $11.99, so if it looks worth that to you, then definitely go and have a look. The next thing on my list is probably the biggest thing I'm going to put along this week. It's the Jackbox Party Pack 4. Now, for those of you who are single-player only gamers, this will not be for you in any way. But for those of you who like little party things that you can play, so you can sort of play online, but you're better off just playing in a group together, then this is definitely for you. If you're unfamiliar with the Jackbox series, it's a sort of spin-off of the You Don't Know Jack set of games, and lots of different mini-games, basically. Multiplayer mini-games, and the ones included in this one are Fibbage 3, so the third version of Fibbage, which is definitely very good. Survive the Internet, which is a web-based frame game where you twist your friends' online comments in hilarious ways. Monster Seeking Monster, a spooky date-a-thon game. Bracketeering, which is a debate match game, which sounds a bit like Oh Sir, the Insult Simulator, which is very good. And finally, Civic Doodle one-up art game. Compete to improve the town mural. Ooh, some of these sound very interesting. Fibbage 3, you know, it's Fibbage. It's a very good little game. But these others are all entirely new games, and it looks like it's just going to bring some more interesting things to Jackbox and that experience therein. Costs $18.99, which is, you know, a bit more expensive than the other Jackbox games at the moment, but that's because it's the newest one, so I'm not surprised. And, you know, worth a look. Next thing on my list is the only DLC I'm going to be including today. It's not very often that I'll cover DLC, however, this is a little bit special because it is one of my favourite games of all time, City Skylines, and it's some more DLC for that. This one in particular is very good for me because when I build cities, I tend to build them very eco-friendly, and I tend to not use coal power plants or anything like that that might pollute where I can avoid it. And this expansion, Green Cities, looks to very much benefit me as a City Skylines player. Among various additions, including over 300 new assets, you can now set up very eco-friendly cities. Buildings in residential areas can be made to be almost completely self-sufficient, which can completely change your water and electricity requirements. And there's also industrial or commercial specializations in more green areas, because you could do farming and forestry were your two eco-friendly industries before, but now they seem to have added some more, so it's going to make my life at least a little bit easier. Also, one of the shops is called Healthy Weeds, which I find funny. And they've also added various new structural infrastructure buildings, including one that I've had installed as a mod for ages and has finally been put in the game properly, a recycling centre, so you don't have to incinerate all of your trash. The expansion itself costs $9.99. A lot of these things do come free in an update, but you are paying mostly for the extra, like the added buildings and all that kind of thing. For me, I find that it's worth it. A lot of people are saying that City Skylines DLC is overpriced, but I don't entirely agree. I think City Skylines DLC is generally well priced considering the amount of work that goes in it, so it's probably worth a look if you really enjoy this game. And finally this week, a semi-big release. It's not been publicised very much, so I didn't know about it until just now, so I'm putting it on here anyway. It's called Elex, E-L-E-X. It's very much a sort of combination of a lot of AAA concepts at the moment. We have it very much looks like The Witcher 3 crossed with Horizon Zero Dawn and like those kind of games, and it looks very strange. It's quite fun in a way. Calling itself handcrafted is a little bit interesting, a way to put it, but very much prides itself on being a single player game, which is very fun, and you get a lot of interesting little things to do in this. There's a lot of interesting creatures that look like, so it's very Fallout in that regard as well. There's a lot of sort of creatures that look like they belong in Fallout, and it looks like a mishmash of a lot of AAA games, and I'm really hoping it's taking the best ones and the best elements of those and just making a really nice, refined, open world post-apocalyptic RPG, because why not? We definitely need more of those in the world. Of course I'm being sarcastic, there's a massive saturation of them, but this one just looks like quite fun. Published by THQ. They make decent enough games, I suppose, and it costs £40, which is the most expensive game on the list. It's definitely the most high profile release on this list, but you know, I just felt like talking about it for a little bit. And that brings us to the end of the release radar for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a like, subscribe, or a share, whatever you fancy. Our social links are down in the description, along with a link to our Discord. If you like me, I can be found on Twitch at twitch.tv/metalnerddude and on Twitter at @SnowyDuffield. Join us again on GameCast next week for the release radar, and stay tuned for news, reviews, podcasts, and Let's Plays and other things, all of your gaming needs, and I will see you next time.